Hey, how are you? What's up? What's up? What kind of day have you had? What's a random thing that has happened to you today? And yeah, put it in the comments. I'd love to see it. I'm sure everybody would love to know what is an awkward thing, odd, random thing that has happened to you today, and you're like, huh, that was really random. Like getting a phone call from someone who hasn't spoken to you for a while, or you just randomly saw I don't know, a caterpillar, monkey, you saw a cat crossing the road. Whatever is a random in your life, put it in the chat. Um, it's Jean Rehema here. I am here to answer your questions today. So if you have any questions to do with your Christian walk, whether it's your mental health, emotional health, friendships, relationships, your relationship with yourself, finances, anything that has anything to do with your Christian walk, send in your questions via my Instagram DM, or you can actually ask in the comments if you're comfortable. But for me to find it faster, send it to my Instagram DM at Jean Rehema. And yeah, I will pick it and answer it for you. I believe that, the Bible is a manual for life, and there's absolutely nothing that you can't find advice for in the Bible. So send in your question, whatever it is, and I'll shoot you an answer. So the question today was sent in by Benedict, and Benedict asked, why do bad things happen to good people? In spite of their, good people, good deeds, bad things still come their way. Why? What separates them from bad people if bad things happen to both of them? And this is a fantastic question, Benedict. So I think there's this thing that, I don't know, there's this mindset that goes around that just because, you're a good person, or, you're a good Christian, you follow the Bible, and, you're kind, and you don't overtly insult anyone and go into fits of rage, or you're just genuinely such a sweet human being, that bad things won't happen to you. And that's not how God works. Salvation is not something where, you're lured into it by being told, your life will be perfect, because then people would be choosing to belong out of the wrong reasons. If somebody told you, like, all you need to do is become a Christian and your life will be perfect, you'll never suffer, nothing will ever, bad will ever happen, you'll just have smooth sailing, your life will just be chill, then people would be joining and people would be coming on board because of that. But there's no part in the Bible that tells us because, we are good people, bad things won't happen. And you can see even in the book of Job, this guy was, taking care of the widows and the orphans. He was kind, he was keeping the commandments. He was even, in one of the parts of the scriptures, he says, even you can ask people, I give them, I take care of them, I give them, I'm a nice person, this is unfair, why am I suffering? Because in that time, they had that same belief that if bad things were happening to you, it means God was punishing you. And if bad things didn't happen to you, it meant that you were a saint and God didn't punish you. So they looked at bad things happening as punishment for sin. So, if you're sick and you have sores, what did you do for God to punish you? You have acne, what did you do? What did you do? So, and that isn't necessarily, that actually is not the right mindset. And we can see when God came, towards the end of the book of Job, God corrected them because that was a false belief. And bad things happen to everybody because we live in a fallen world. There's thorns in the ground, there's weeds, there's parasites, there's sickness. The world is fallen, and God doesn't choose, this is a good person, they'll never get a sunburn, and this is a nice person. Oh, sorry, and this is a bad person, the sun will shine on them 10 times more. The word says that, the good and the bad. It says in Proverbs, the wicked and the good have one thing in common. The Lord gives sight to the eyes of both. God lets it rain in both the sinner's piece of land and the righteous person's piece of land. And if there's a storm, everybody will have rain. It's not going to, rain here and then not rain here. And it's like that kind of distance. Of course, God does protect. But the thing is, what separates good people and bad people is not what comes to them or what comes at them, but what comes out of them. So that is basically what separates the good and the wicked, what comes out of you. And even in Matthew 15, Jesus says this in Matthew 15, 18, it says, but the things that come out of the mouth come from the heart, and these are what make a man unclean, or in this case, bad. So for out of the heart come evil thoughts, murder, adultery, sexual immorality, theft, false testimony, and slander. And these are the things that make a man unclean or make a man bad. And the context of this verse is where the Pharisees were saying, like, oh, the disciples, they didn't wash their hands before eating, they're so unclean, and all of those things. And basically, that is what separates good and bad people. We live in a fallen world, and we're all going to experience pain. I'll get a cold, you'll get a cold. A really nice person will get a cold, and a really mean person will get a cold. But what separates the two is not what comes at them, but what comes out of them. So I really, really hope that answered your question. Benedict, if you have, or anyone else who might have had that question, if any of you have a similar question or a question about anything in general, send them to my Instagram DM and I'll pick one and do a video on it. Yeah, so have a great day. Go and live life for the audience of one. Bye.